Hey guys, welcome back to Kelly's Creations. I'm so glad you're here. So, Christmas in July, I love it. I'm going to be doing a Christmas fireplace that I will be putting in a diorama next week made from a jewelry box. So, the fireplace is made out of a crate from Dollar Tree that I cut down the back of the crate so it was only 2 rungs high, and now I'm going to be using, I think this piece is the piece that came off the center of the crate. I'm just going to cut it down and I'm going to glue it to the top, and we are going to build the fireplace using the crate. Every time I cut down a piece, I do sand the edges to make them smoother. I won't be showing that throughout the whole video, but that is what I do. This video is already really long enough. So I'm using wood glue and I'm going to attach one of those pieces. Like I said, it was just off the crate, but it's pretty much the same size as a craft stick. I'm going to be taking a smaller little craft stick. I'm going to cut that down as well, and I am going to glue it to the center of the piece I just put on. Once I have the little piece glued down, I'm going to work on the top of the fireplace using some bigger craft sticks. I actually use three craft sticks total, but 2 of the jumbo craft sticks and 1 smaller craft stick, because you're really not going to see the back once the embellishments are on there anyway, and it made my life easier because it fit perfectly. Using a ruler, I just am drawing lines down where I want to make my cuts. Then I use my little miter cutter to cut them down. I sand the edges, and I use wood glue to attach them to the top. This is going to be the top of the fireplace, and my fireplace is going to be put in my Christmas diorama next week. Stay tuned. But adding the making of the fireplace into that video was over an hour long, so I thought I would separate it by showing you this week how I made the fireplace. Next week will be how I turned that jewelry box into Santa's home. So stinking cute. Oh my gosh, don't forget to come back next week for that. So I fill in a little bit of the gaps with the wood glue, and then I come in and I take the smaller craft sticks, I glue them to the inside of the box to fill in the holes on either side. So I'm just going to use wood glue and a skinny craft stick to fill in those gaps. Once I have those gaps filled in, I'm going to use the larger craft stick and I'm going to cut it down, and I'm going to continue it going around from the piece I put on the front and continue it around on both sides, cutting down craft sticks and gluing them down with wood glue. So I have the top, I have the gaps filled in. Now it's time to add something to the bottom and the top of the front, because I don't want that big of hole, of course, for the fireplace itself. So I'm going to come in with the larger craft sticks again, and I am going to add 1 to the bottom, and I'm going to add 3 to the top to make that opening much smaller. So I have the frame built of my fireplace. Now I'm going to grab my Crayola air dry clay, have a little water handy, and I'm going to grab some decorative molds. Thank you for everybody who told me to put cornstarch in my mold first, and then that was a game changer. The molds came out perfectly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's why I love my subscribers so very much. I used a little tool to clean up all the little excess and make sure that all the little edges and everything were perfect. And then I used some glue and I glued it to the top of the fireplace. I just think this adds a decorative look to the fireplace. And yeah, I also do the same thing and I glue it to either side of the sides of the fireplace as well. Now that top middle section is going to be stone, so I'm just putting on all my decorative pieces first. As you can tell, I don't totally go around the sides with this because where this fireplace is going to be in my diorama, you will not see the sides. But of course, if you're putting this where you would be able to see the sides, you would want to put this decorative piece going all the way around. To make the stone front of the fireplace, I'm just adding glue first. Then I'm going to come in with my clay and I'm going to roll up little bitty balls. I'm going to push them onto the front and kind of overlapping a little bit onto the sides. And I'm just going to keep pushing together until it makes a really cool stone effect. Now, you can make your stones as big, as small. You can do big and small. This is totally personal preference, but I love how when you are pushing them into each other, it is creating your gap naturally. And I think that's a really cool look. So you don't have to worry too much about defining each individual stone. As you can see here, you can see the gaps of the stone. I will come back in with a clay tool and highlight those and make them a little bolder, but I love how you can get like an effect right now to see exactly where to come in with your tool. And I do come in and I kind of highlight all those original gaps and then kind of tap it down with my finger as well, so I'm not getting little clay pieces. I love using tin foil rolled up in a ball to add some decorative stone look to it. I'm going blank. You can also use a toothbrush as well to come in and add the details to really make this look like stone. Texture. That was the word I was going blank on. So yeah, you can use a tinfoil for texture. You can use a toothbrush for texture. Once I had that, I also come back in and go over the little gaps just a little bit more. So this wood piece from Dollar Tree, I thought would make the perfect base for my fireplace. And I just set my fireplace on top of it and make lines where I want to cut. And I trim it down and glue the fireplace onto this piece of wood. When I am gluing my fireplace down, I do leave a little gap at the back because the other piece of the extra piece from where I cut, I am going to use that as the back of my fireplace. And I am going to do brick on that so that when you look into the fireplace, you will see the back is brick. And it's just the little details. I didn't want just a smooth wall when you looked into the fireplace, so I thought this would be a great added detail. So what I do is I'm going to add clay to that extra piece, and I'm getting ahead of myself as I'm crafting because I'm so excited, and I forget to put the glue down first. So right now you see me kind of smoothing it onto the piece of wood with no glue. But it was an easy fix. So once I got it all smoothed to the where I wanted it, I just kind of rolled it off of it. Then I came back in and the light bulb went off that it needs to be glued down. So I added my glue, I unrolled my piece of clay, and I smoothed it onto the wood. The small Jenga blocks from Dollar Tree make perfect bricks, and all I did was I took the Jenga blocks and I started pushing them into the clay, making sure they weren't totally lined up, given that pattern of brick, and all I had to do was push them in, and you got the perfect little brick effect with the grout lines and everything. So cute and so easy if you're making a brick wall. That gives the perfect brick wall look, and that part is done. So now I'm going to do the same exact thing to the bottom of my fireplace. This time remembering to put the glue down first. Then I'm going to take pieces of clay and using my finger right now to get it all exactly where I want it. I will come back in and with a tool I will flatten it out and push it down and smooth it out and really get it fitting all around the base of my fireplace. Then I'm coming in with the Jenga blocks and doing the same thing, pushing them into the clay, making sure all the areas are covered to make that brick effect on the bottom of the fireplace as well. So I set that aside, let it dry overnight, and came back the next day to paint it. And I did speed up this part of the video, but I started with a base coat of the Waverly and Ink black paint. I painted the whole fireplace and I painted the back brick wall as well with that base coat of black. Now I'm thinking you could spray paint this as well. That would have probably been a lot faster. But I just hand painted the whole thing and set that aside to dry overnight as well. So then I came in with some plaster and some red from Waverly, and I am going to paint all of the individual bricks with the red. And I do a couple coats just because I first add the red in and then I come back in certain bricks I add a little bit more red. I come back in with the black a little bit, touch up any areas, dab a little black as well. I just kept layering it until I had the effect of the bricks. I had it exactly the way I wanted it to look. Then I come in with white and I go, or with the plaster, and I go in between where all the grout lines would be. I add white onto that, and then I come back in with another layer of black. I also dab black heavily in the center because I think that's where it would have more soot from the fire. So I kind of dab the center with more of that black to give it the soot look.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a blanket with.
I think that wall turned out so cute. So I'm going to do the same thing to the fireplace as well on the brick, the same exact way. I already have my black. I'm going to add that red. I'm going to come in with white. The only thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to dab black on to the outside. That was just to give the effect of the fireplace soot on the inside, but I'm going to do the technique exactly the same way on the fireplace. Once I have my bricks exactly the way I want, it's time to start on the stones. I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint some of the stones in the red. Then I'm going to come in, I'm going to go over all of the stones with the red, just to have some be a little deeper than others. But for the most part, I'm doing this the same way I did the brick. I will come in with white and just keep playing around. I think this part is so much fun because you can just keep adding paint. You can just keep playing around with it until you have the exact effect and the exact look that you are striving to get.
My heart, but this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You and me, doesn't matter, it's Christmas in my heart.
I do come in with some silver dust and some cool pearl dust, and I kind of go over all of my little clay embellishments to highlight them and make them a little sparkly. Since this is going to be in Santa's house, I just think that Santa's house should be sparkly and glittery, and just it really highlights the details and makes them pop. Now it's time to add the back on, so I'm just going to use some super glue, and I'm going to put glue all around the edge of my back brick wall. I'm also going to put super glue on the edge of my fireplace as well, and I'm going to add the back on. At first I thought it would fit perfectly at the bottom, but I did have to raise it, so I just used some popsicle sticks to secure the back on. And then I came in with my black paint, and even though you're not going to see it because it is the back, you might see the sides. So I made sure to really focus on the sides, and I just kept going, and I painted the whole piece to make it a finished piece black, even though it is going to be up against the wall. And I think this little fireplace turned out so adorable. Oh my goodness. This is the fireplace inside my diorama. I will go into more detail of how I added the lights and the logs and all that when I show you my diorama of Santa's house made from a jewelry box next Tuesday. But look how cute this fireplace turned out. I absolutely love it. I hope you guys did too. Let me know in the comments below. As always, I love hearing from you. I hope everybody has a blessed and most wonderful week, and I'll see you all next Tuesday. Love y'all.